Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Juan's World, and as you can see from my opening scene here, I'm not doing any cooking. These are images from Sunday when I went out with my camera and took some pictures of a local pagoda, and that is in fact going to give me my topic for today, which continues the topic from Friday, that is how I get out of certain kinds of situations when I'm not feeling particularly on top of myself, depressed or anxious or in some way just out of sorts. And you remember I used the acronym FEDS, FEDS, food, exercise, drink, sleep. Well, most of those are easy to take care of. If I'm not particularly hungry, which I never am, but I can always go to the refrigerator or the freezer and pull something out and see if it will fit the bill. Drink a glass of water, jump on the bed, take a nap. The hardest is motivating myself to get out of my apartment if I have been in it for too long. And that's my topic for today: motivation. Now, I know that the kind of twin horns of the dilemma, if you like, are the knowledge that you need to get out in order to feel better, and the desire to stay in because you don't want to go out. And that is just a seemingly impossible task, to get yourself motivated to do something that you know will do you good, but you don't want to do it. And you know, that could apply to any number of things. It could apply to somebody who drinks too much or who smokes too much. And in both cases it might mean, you know, drinking at all or smoking at all, as is often the case. I know about giving up smoking. I've done it many times. Don't smoke right now. But I know what it's like to want to quit smoking at the same time not want to quit smoking, leading to what is a kind of philosophical paradox of wanting not to want. You know, I want not to want to smoke. It's very hard. So in this particular case, I know it would be good for me to get out and take a walk or ride my bicycle, but I don't want to. How do I motivate myself to do what I don't want to do? Well, that's a curious question. How do we do anything that we don't want to do? Write an essay for class, meet somebody for business that you really don't want to do. All kinds of things. I mean, I could write a list, a sort of a to-do list of things that I don't want to do. And I see on YouTube and other social media all the time advertisements for people solving procrastination problems or laziness problems or whatever. And there is a big problem with people saying, I am a procrastinator or I am lazy. And this has to do with my long-term analysis of people. That is that it's a mistake to characterize yourself in absolute terms. It could be anything like beautiful, you know, like I am not beautiful, or I am beautiful, or I am handsome, or not. I'm good looking. Well, those standards of beauty, for example, are culturally determined, and they're historically determined. There was a period when people who would be considered overweight now were considered to be attractive at one time. And one of the reasons they were considered to be attractive is that they were overweight because they could eat enough, and most people couldn't get overweight because they couldn't eat enough. So somebody who could, you know, Henry VIII, let's say, that's going back a bit too far, but you get the idea that people who were, by our standards, overweight were considered attractive. Now it's the opposite. You know, people who have got fit bodies, very trim, are considered attractive, and it changes. And it's also circumstantial. You can't say I am good looking or not good looking in an absolute sense. All you can do is you can say relative to the standards of my day, or in relation to the people that I move among, I have some attractive qualities or unattractive qualities or whatever. It's all relative. And that can be true for things like lazy. You know, I'm often lazy, like lazy when it comes to doing language work, but I'm not lazy in any absolute sense. I just don't want to do it. I don't like doing it. I would like to be fluent in Khmer language, but I don't want to do the work to become fluent. It's hard work, and it's not work that interests me. It's not that I'm lazy, it's that I don't know, obstinate maybe. I don't want to do it. You know, people who say I am a procrastinator, they're not doing certain things because they don't want to do them. It's not complicated. And so when it comes to exercise, when I'm sitting in my apartment, when I'm looking out the window, I almost invariably say to myself, I don't want to get on my bicycle. Now, the only thing that persuades me to actually get on my bicycle and get out is that I know that when I do get on my bike and get out, I'll feel good. I always do. I just like the feeling of riding along, the freedom and the openness, and sometimes the quiet, the solitude. Kind of like when I had a convertible, except that there's no noise. It's if I'm out in the countryside on my bicycle, it's just me and the open road, quiet and peaceful and still, maybe cool or sunny. So I know that when I do it, it will be good. And usually that's enough to motivate me, but not always. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I sit in my apartment and I say, I really should get out, I really should exercise, and I don't. Now that would be one of the reasons to have habitual behaviors. I'm not great on habits, but if you always go for a walk at 7 in the morning, or always go for a bike ride at 7 in the morning, then if you get into the habit, then that can work. The trouble with that is that sometimes here, as this morning, there's a howling monsoon at 7 in the morning, and I don't want to do that. I would like to go out on my bike right now, but it's been raining a lot. There's going to be a lot of deep water in places, and I don't want to do it. So I'll hold off today. But it's important to figure out ways to motivate yourself when you know that the thing that you want to do will be good when you do it, but you don't want to do it now. Now, things get a lot worse if you're dealing with people who are chronically anxious or chronically depressed, because then they may never want to do something, and they're always going to need some kind of external stimulus, because the internal stimulus is never going to be enough. I understand that. And remember, I'm not diagnosing anyone, including myself, and I'm not giving advice. I'm just thinking about what happened, particularly yesterday morning, when I looked out my window and I said FEDS, yes, E, exercise. I need to get on my bicycle, and I need to use my new camera a little bit more, get more used to it and so forth. And so I'm gonna get out, and then didn't and didn't until eventually I just said, oh, okay, fine, I'm going. And I got up, got out. As soon as I got out, everything was fine, and I took some nice shots, including the videos that I showed you at the beginning, and felt better. And today's another day. Today I need to be doing the same thing again, except that there's been a howling monsoon all night, and the roads are all knee-deep in water for the moment, so it's not happening. So we're going to use that as an excuse. But the thing is that for all of the things that I feel necessary in my life to keep me happy, healthy, contented, and so on, I have to be proactive. I can't be passive about it. And getting out and doing things is especially difficult, because it's easy to just say, nah, I won't do that today. And pretty soon you're saying that tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and you're in a really bad situation. So everyone has to find the ways to motivate themselves, and it's not just a question of saying, I know this is good for me. That's not enough. Being good for you is not adequate motivation. There has to be a sense of joy. There has to be a sense that when I do this, it will bring me joy, or some kind of happiness, or some kind of contentment beyond the contentment of doing what I'm doing now, sitting on my couch and babbling on. So Friday, I'm not sure. I may get into some cooking. I'm not sure, but I couldn't do it today because I just have too much in the way of Turkish delight and pralines. I don't want to be making cinder toffee or honeycomb or whatever and adding to the pile of sweet things that I'm not eating. So maybe Friday, we'll see. And meanwhile, please tell your friends, please like and subscribe, and have a good week.